Hi everyone, thank you for being here and celebrating Edna's life. My name is Sarah and I'm one of Edna's grandchildren. Today I would like to take a moment to talk about Edna's life. For me, Edna was my go-to person to call when I needed help spelling a word or even the ingredients on the family recipe I couldn't read because of the old-fashioned cursive handwriting. No matter what, she would make sure she would call you every single day to see how your day is going or simply complain to you about another family member. Today I just want everyone to know how good of a grandmother she really was. Some stories of her growing up, getting married, and how amazing she was at knitting. Edna is a grandmother of 9 grandchildren and 7 great-grandchildren. We all had our shares of being spoiled by her, but honestly I was the most spoiled because I was the last grandchild. She would always watch my sister and I during the summer or during school breaks when we were younger for our parents. Whenever we would sleep over her apartment, she would always make ice cream cones for us. It was our snack always before we would go to bed. Whenever we would spend the day with her, we would always do some kind of craft, from the plastic canvases or her trying to teach us how to crochet or knit, which never really worked out. It was always something new every day. If we weren't doing crafts in the summer, we were down at the town's pool swimming. As my sister and I started getting older, we didn't spend much time with her as we did when we were younger. But she would always have us get her food and her medications so she could see us and sneak us money so we could spend it on ourselves. While we were always at her house, we would get to hear stories about her childhood. While hearing stories of her younger days, it always made me want to go back in time to see what her life was like in my eyes. One of my favorite stories I would always hear is my grandmother was always the bad child growing up. She got kicked out of almost every school in town. Why? Because people were making fun of her brother, John. She had enough of them and would get into fights, which led her to get kicked out of the school. Another favorite story of mine is her just talking about her cow named Nancy and how she would go out, feed her, milk her every single day. Her growing up situation wasn't the greatest, but I love hearing her stories. Another story I love hearing is her trip with my poppy, her husband, to Florida after they got married. Edna was famously known by everyone for her knitting skills. Everyone knows Edna loved knitting. If you ask her to make you something, she made it within days. Every time you would walk into her house, she would be sitting on her recliner making something. While I was growing up until she passed, she would always make us hats, gloves, scarves every winter. She did it for all the grandchildren. If we were having a baby in the family or know someone having a baby, she would make sure the baby would have a baby blanket, gloves, hat, and even a small jacket too. It was amazing watching her make these for people. It was more of second nature for her. I would just like to thank everyone for coming here today and sharing our stories and love for Edna. We all miss her so much.